I gotta do two.
James Madison is the father of the Constitution. He wrote the Federalist Papers. He wrote the Bill of Rights, pretty much. He was president during the War of 1812. First to live in the White House. He was there when it burnt down. He really is the last founding father to do a bunch of stuff, because they're all getting pretty old then. Now the review. Virginia plan. You know about it?
It was a big state.
Population.
Yeah.
They wanted representation based on a state's population. Every 5,000 people, you get a rep. They would have 7, Delaware would have 1. What was New Jersey plan?
It was a small state. Equal.
States to be equal.
Yeah.
So, the Connecticut Compromise did what?
It made both.
Both of them. You got the House of Representatives and the Senate. And everything goes through both. These guys that did the Constitution and all that stuff, they were brilliant. But they were a piece of garbage human beings at the same time. The Three-Fifths Compromise is an example of idiotic thinking. I've always said Thomas Jefferson, I feel like, I know this for a fact, I feel like he was conflicted owning slaves and writing on their creed. But he probably didn't know what to do. Slavery's racism. It's also economics. You can't afford to pay people to pick the cotton and make money off of it, so you have slaves. And I think in the South, there was probably a lot of people who were conflicted by it, that didn't know what to do. They didn't want to get beat up, didn't want their house burned, so that everybody just kind of kicked the can down the road. Not ignored it and hoped somebody else would take care of it. Three-Fifths Compromise is one of these, kicking the can down the road. Remember what that was? Virginia.
Indian?
Was that?
Wasn't it Indian?
No. I don't. 95% of me says no. In Virginia, they want people to represent, they want a lot of representatives in the House, correct? So they look around, somebody says, hey, well, if we count all these guys over here. Somebody said, well, we can't count them, they ain't a people, they're a slave. Somebody said, what if we just counted part of them? Three-fifths is not what?
No.
It's not one. It's also not one. A half. They were so big, they counted three-fifths of a slave as a person. Congratulations, way to go. So for every 5 slaves, they were allowed to count 3 for its population, for representation. That's the Three-Fifths Compromise. It's stupid, it's ridiculous, it's marked out in your book. Why is it marked out in your book?
You don't have slaves anymore.
It doesn't apply anymore. There's several parts of the Constitution of the book that have blank lines through it because they don't apply. The Missouri Compromise is another kicking the can down the road. Remember the Missouri Compromise had to do with states coming in the Union. For every slave state that came in, they had to have a free state. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Last one. For picking the president, what is obviously the best solution to picking a president? How do we do that? Popular vote. The founding fathers said we can't do that because people will not be educated. Too uneducated to make a good decision. They didn't mean we'd be too dumb. That's today. We're too dumb today to make a good decision. They meant the guy in Kentucky at his farm wouldn't know who these people were. they wouldn't have access to that kind of information. So they said, nope, we're not gonna just do popular vote. Somebody said, what about state legislature? Let them pick the president. They're gonna pick the senators. Would we have a say-so in this? We picked the legislature, so they would kind of reflect what the majority of the people probably wanted anyway. They said, no, don't do that. Then they said, what about electoral votes? Oral votes. So they said, okay. Popular vote picks the electoral votes. If you get 51% of a state's vote, you get all that state's elected votes. And you get the same number of votes that you have senators and representatives. Now, some people say we need to do away with this and just have the popular vote. I'm going to show you why that's a horrible idea. I'm going to show you a picture from the 2000 election. That's not it. That's not well. I can live with Bernie Sanders because he tells me what he is. He's honest with me. He at least tells me he's a socialist. Here's what I want to do. Okay, I can talk to you about it. Hillary Clinton says I'm not a socialist, but she's a socialist. I'm a socialist. The red is counties that was won by the Republican candidate. The blue is counties won by the Democratic candidate. This is in 2000. The blue was Vice President Gore. The red was Governor Bush of Texas. Who won the vote? Obviously.
Bush.
Bush lost. Al Gore won. How did Al Gore win?
He had the big ones.
New York, Boston, Philadelphia, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles. He won the cities. Bush won most of the country. Al Gore won the big cities. So to be president, if it was just popular vote, we get the big cities.
You know,
You could ignore the whole country. With the electoral votes, you have to get 270 electoral votes, which forces you to go to different parts of the country. So at least with electors, you can't just focus on, you have to spread out, you have to cross the country. All right, good, thank you.